You're the guy with the gun, the person who would do anything to protect the ones
I
you
just
love.
want y'all to
But
watch this.
did you know you could go
It's
to
the
jail for
rest
simply
of
doing the right
the
thing to
video I
keep
was
your
trying to
family
say.
safe?
To catch up what I was really trying to say.
Well, as residents return home in Florida,
Alright, I made a video about Sarko,
another warning,
and
and it's one you might not.
this is going to be part 2 of what I was talking about. I'm just talking, but if you use the other videos I was trying to say, it would make more sense. Yeah, let's get back to it. So this is what's going on in Florida. They said it's a flesh-eating bacteria, but they already told you this was on the way, and I'm telling you, it comes from the clouds. When Ian happened, they reported a sandstorm. The sandstorm actually comes from a buildup of graphene oxide and calcium carbonate. You put them two together, it makes a whole different compound, and it creates an epoxy dust in the air, and the particles get breathed in and trapped in your mucus lining, and your lymphatic system deals with your mucus lining. So the mucus gets trapped in your mucus lining from the nose. It goes third eye, brain, boom. Or when you intake, it goes boom because it's high below too. So like it goes down, trapped in your mucus lining. Now it's producing sicknesses and shit like that. So, and once it sits in there enough, especially from like the sigma or the B dog, sits in there enough, it starts to eat away your flesh because of the graphene. The graphene is tied into clear quartz and tourmaline, I think. The black with the or like limestone type shit. Because limestone, graphene actually comes from the word graphite. Graphite and is tied into limestone. Reason why they used it for coffins. Yeah, like coffins back in the day, they used limestone because it helps eat away the flesh, right? But the thing about the clear quartz, it holds a charge too, so it can pick up from frequency. So that graphene, that venom, that's how the frequency pick up from the venom. Because it's not exactly clear quartz, but it's an element that deals with it. So yeah, anyways, so it starts eating away flesh from the spleen. Your spleen is actually your solar plexus. It lines up like your spleen, like the spinal cord, your kundalini. Your spleen is, it starts with your red blood cells, starts the pathological blood destruction. It starts in your spleen, right? Which affects your root. It affects your root, affects your heart, affects your mind, depending on where you at up here. But really is where you at down here sometimes, because we're down here. So you have to deal with your root and your sacral, right? Because the root and the sacral is one, right? That shit is magnetism and chaos energy. So look. Alright, so yeah. So when it talks about in flesh eating bacteria, it's talking about the mutation SARS-CoV-2. That's what they meant by that. That was the next part as it goes into the new energy, right? Because when the lunar frequency went out, I mean, this lunar eclipse happened, they was fucking with the energies, fucking with Mu energy, which is fucking with the lands, because the Mu energy is really supposed to connect to the lands below and Bermuda. Really, the Trinity connects to Bermuda, because below Bermuda is the Trinity to the Atlantis realm, to make it an X. Alright, so yeah, let's just play this because I'm going everywhere left. Let's get it.
Expect flesh-eating.
That my colleagues have been watching very. situation is worrying a lot of people.
Yeah, you were with us last week. You were explaining how nutrient loading can lead to algae blooms. That may happen, but this is another problem that's been cropping up. So how are bacteria levels and the overall water quality down in Florida?
Yeah, that's something that my colleagues have been watching very closely, looking at the spikes in bacteria. And most of those tests are done for Enterococcus or E. coli, those kind of bacteria that you get from fecal matter, from sewage overflows or other species of bacteria. But there is one species of bacteria in particular that is worrying people, commonly called flesh-eating bacteria. Vibrio vulnificus is a bacteria that we're seeing an uptick in, just like we saw after Hurricane Irma. And this is a pathogen that can be very serious.
Yeah, we've seen an uptick in these cases, as you were referencing. The
Pathogens deal with the pathological structure of your anatomy.
concerned because of that. Officials there are warning people that you can get it from flood and still water. Now, what are the symptoms of this? What should folks do to avoid this? And I'm wondering, we saw this uptick. I know it's too soon to say if this is directly related to Hurricane Ian, but the lion's share of the cases look to be coming out of...
The E is for epsilon, or which is cough, which is the connection to above and below, which also connects to the Ma energy, which is Mu energy, just a different vowel. It's the mother energy, the X. They're manipulating the X, and they're manipulating the mother energy, right? And the husband. So look, X out what the fuck I just said about the husband. But look, because they try to do it with the new. But anyways, the new energy, which is representing half of the grid, right? One side, Mu, other side, Nu. But it's like, Nu is like Asia area, like Eurasia, and Mu is like the Americas.
Southwest Florida, so even if they were present before the hurricane moved in, what are you expecting with this moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, I think that we know that there's a correlation between standing water heat and drops in salinity. This is a brackish organism, so that means salt and fresh water mixing. So we find these species around where the ocean meets the rivers or freshwater bodies. And we know after a big storm event like we had in Ian, and we also had in Irma, that a lot of fresh water comes into the coastline, decreasing that salinity, making conditions preferable for this species. And
I
you
remember
can
what I was saying, what
be
xenobot
impacted
means,
by this species.
because xeno is a part of this mutation or virus they got going on, and inside of the variant, they needed a user first to use you. But anyways, let's see, because God's trying to use you, and then Satan's trying to use you, of course, to go against who? God.
Species two different ways. First of all, through ingesting shellfish with Vibrio vulnificus, or it can enter into an open wound, and that's something to be really careful about. There's a lot of volunteers. One fatality was a volunteer coming down here. You're in the water. You're removing debris. You're more likely to be cut. So Vibrio is more likely to be able to impact you if you have compromised immune systems, kidney disease, liver disease. This can be even worse, and it's really important to take care of it as soon as possible, within the first 72 hours, because after that, you're not good.
That's really good advice for any flood waters. We know that there is a lot of trouble in those waters that can be very damaging, or in this case, deadly to people. The issue, of course, is still a lot of standing water as folks are trying to clean up after the devastation from Ian. We've only got about 30 seconds left. I just wanted to know, moving forward, we're about 3 weeks past Ian now. Any other immediate environmental
So remember I
concerns in the
said
short term?
xenobot means gift of God, right? In Greek. Hebrew Ian means gift from God, right? This whole storm they made, it was just energy coming there. That's all it was. And as that energy was hitting, it was actually going to actually heal, because it eliminates fucking cancer cells and shit like that, like how you would if you got a chemo treatment. That laser ray, X-ray vision, X-rays is an imitation of the sun. It's just technology, right? So really, that way is not good. It's a natural way to shit. You need to ground and get your solar, but you need to be doing it in a purified body. That's what the fasting was represented to in any type of religion, because fasting is really the purification of the body. That's the true baptism, right? It gets you back in line with above and below, right? So Ian means that, right? What does I mean in Greek? Feel like iota, some shit like that. Yeah, iota. The letter N iota V epsilon and combined letters Omicron iota, epsilon iota. Alright, so Ian A, alpha iota, iota alpha nu, iota nu alpha iota. Hold on. The letter N, iota. Ooh, we might be getting somewhere new. It's a new dome. Iota alpha combined. Iota alpha pi. Sigma alpha lota. Sigma is thank you, son. Sigma is another word for shot, right? Let's read this first. Let's see what this shit got going on. Alright. Catherine Arts announced that introduce this is a new blah, blah, blah. Because of this crisis, this field is going to grow not just in the hospital system, but in the community system, art organization, homes for elderly, juvenile detention homes. Man, that little shit. Alright, let's just read this one. Because it got a wiki on it. Because the iota alpha gonna deal with the pi, the globe, or the 360. Like the man who fell from Earth, he was looking for where he needed to be at when the energy hit. Right, it deals with the 369 though. The whole time when I was learning what I saw and then saw that movie, that shit freaked me out. Knows that we on the right path. Alright, so look. Iota Alpha was an international college sorority operating in the United States and Canada from March 3rd, 1903 to July 1971. Pretty much saying like December, or you say June, or you say September. It's in July, it's October, January, or like May, April. So, anyways, what's this shit about? I feel like that might be beneficial. Let's see. The first official badge was a scarlet horizontal diamond surrounded by seed pearls. The scarlet diamond bore the letter IAP or pi. But the thing about pi, right? The capital P doesn't represent pi. It represents Rho, constellation Rho, which is in the center of the triangle that's going on with Gemini, Sirius, Orion, Betelgeuse, and all that. Constellation Rho is really like an opening in the firmament, and it's a cluster of stars because you can see the opening in the firmament, right? So boom. A diamond of scarlet surrounded by the jewels. So Brooklyn. PSI deals with Social Security. I'm really tracking you now. Alright, fuck. Rho, right? Rho deals with